Loss surgery as an emergency option is not even possible with her right now because her body is in such shape she would not have it. Medical transport will come and get you and will take you home. I wish you the best. You lost 26 pounds when you should be well under 600 at this point. You're nowhere close to your goal, so I'm not approving you for weight loss surgery.
We already moved down here.
And I see that unwillingness to change. You're always going to be sick because if you encounter something you don't want to do, you say...
How far would you go to change your life when you're pushed to the absolute limit? Dr. Now is never one to sugarcoat the truth, and for some of these patients, his tough love is exactly what they need. But not everyone is ready for his brutal honesty. Watching people squirm as they try to justify their choices is both jaw-dropping and, let's be real, a bit tragic. Dr. Now is here to set the record straight, and he sure has some tough lessons because when it comes to health and accountability, excuses just don't fly. Sadly, some people don't understand that. Among them is Stephanie, a person who continues to make questionable life choices and even more questionable excuses for herself.
I'm constantly thinking about food. I love just how delicious it tastes, how happy it makes me feel. How like it melts away my thoughts. It brings me to life when I eat. It makes me forget about the bad parts at that moment, just for that little bit of time.
This is Stephanie, a dangerously obese person who uses food as a way to regulate her mood. This all started due to her parents' divorce that took a heavy toll on her. Having been in and out of foster care for years, Stephanie developed her excessive love for food. It's impossible to not feel empathy towards her. After all, we all go through tough times and need some semblance of comfort. However, the difference is, not everyone uses their misfortune as a means to self-destruct. She undoubtedly needs help because the McDonald's menu is not a substitute for therapy. Granted, she had a rough life, but this is how her future is turning out to be.
Kids, each with different dads. The only constant in my life was food. Food's just there when I need it. And
this is perhaps the prime example of being shameless. Making horrible decisions and then making excuses for them is never okay. It's understandable, but unacceptable at the same time. The problem here arises from her over-reliance on food, using it as an emotional band-aid instead of addressing her issues. And what happened then? She gained multiple health issues as well, which ultimately made things worse. It's as if she's stuck in an endless loop of gluttony, victim complex, and many excuses. 3 children, all from different fathers, should be enough of a red flag. But why are the people around her allowing this to happen? Are they enabling this behavior?
It scares me daily that her value of life is going away. Her situation to the point where I think it's becoming deadly. I'm having a really hard time with it because she's my best friend.
come on.
Even the people closest to her know that she's in an extremely dangerous condition that's potentially deadly. Nevertheless, the point still stands. If they're so worried about her, then why don't they try and stop her? After all, an intervention is most likely to work if it's coming from people we trust the most. Thankfully, they did try and they managed to convince her to go see Dr. Now. Now, the real question is, does she have what it takes to change her life for the better?
Like they're better than me.
Okay, anything else I can reach?
Right there, the fudge.
This?
Yes.
Okay.
When I feel that, I don't want to be there no more. I want to go somewhere to where I know nobody's at and eat stuff I shouldn't eat. Ice cream is my favorite.
All right, and then the pizza over there.
Oh yeah, and that's it.
This is where the shamelessness comes in. She talks about being scared and wanting to live a better life, but continues to make excuses for her ridiculous behavior. At least she's self-aware and willing to change. That's what matters the most, and that's why people like these deserve our help and kindness. She knows that her habits are destructive and nothing good can come from them. And so she set out to meet Dr. Now and possibly get surgery. However, she didn't know she was going to get a huge bonus reality check with it. The majority of heat came towards the people who enabled her habits, especially her son and stepdad. Perhaps the greatest joke here is her excuse for that.
Okay, so your son or your stepdad will go get what you order.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're your enabler. So how are we gonna break that cycle of being everybody supporting your eating habit?
I'm gonna have to change it. They're gonna have to tell me no.
Incredibly simple question. How is she going to break that horrid cycle? Her answer? Basically trying to blame others, saying they're the ones who should tell her no. How about you stop asking for 8 maidens of food and take some responsibility for your life? Well, Dr. Now gave her the time to show some initial commitment, but guess what? She didn't do anything meaningful and kept making countless excuses. So, what's the final verdict? Here's what the doctor had to say.
It is clear to me that Stephanie doesn't have much desire to take responsibility for her life and her situation. She'd like to say that she's ready to change and do what she needs, but that's just part of the game she plays. It's her way to convince everyone that she has tried everything. And then when nothing in her life changes, she wants everyone to think that she is a victim of unfair situation, so it's not her fault. That's how she manipulates her family, and she
got absolutely on with this one. Stephanie thought the same tactics she uses to manipulate everyone else will help her with Dr. Now, but she was sorely mistaken. He saw right through her victim mentality and rejected her with ease. Though, to be fair, he did give her a chance to prove him wrong. The worst part is, things could have been much different if they were willing to really change. Speaking of change, or lack thereof, meet Thedric, a dangerously overweight person motivated by ice cream.
I would say when the ice cream man pulls up, it's the best part of my day. The treats make it worth it for me to push myself to walk outside. And that's my exercise for the day.
Hey, what can I get for you today?
Isn't it sad that the best part of someone's day is the ice cream truck? No hopes, no ambition. Thedric has ruined himself and his body beyond recognition. What's worse is that this behavior is enabled by his own mother. In an attempt to be supportive, she's supporting her son's medical problems now. It might not sound that bad, but here's how horrid the situation is.
I've been living with my mom since I came into this world. I've been living with my mom. I was supposed to be gone at 21, but I got too big to be on my own. So I stayed with her so she can help take care of me because I needed help bathing.
When you can't even take a shower on your own and don't do anything to change that, it's the peak of shamelessness. Just ask yourself, what future prospects does this person have? The answer is none. Thedric is not fit to even carry out basic tasks, let alone be a functional member of society. It's sad, and you almost feel sorry for them till you realize they're shamelessly content being this way.
I order a lot, and I tell myself, you don't gotta eat it if you don't want it. But when I get it, I usually end up eating it all at once. So I can eat 2 full pieces with 2 orders of wings and an order of cheesy bread. But after I finish, you know I'm still hungry. And I start thinking about what I'm gonna have next.
Does that look like the quantity of food one person should be eating? It's shameless, and no amount of excuses justify it. They ruin their lives, and then, when it becomes unlivable, they try to go for surgeries. That's exactly what happened with Thedric as well. Then they came across Dr. Now, hoping that he'd approve the surgery. However, true empathy is telling these people what they actually need to hear. Thankfully, that's exactly what Dr. Now is doing.
But weight loss surgery isn't going to be a magic fix for you because you have an eating disorder. And an eating disorder is not something that surgery is going to change. Okay? You're going to have to do that. Okay?
Okay.
You understand that, right?
Yes, sir.
I hope so, because you can't keep going like this for much longer. And your chart says you're already hospitalized for a heart issue.
Yes, sir.
There's the announcement of doom that all of them dread hearing. Weight loss surgery is a final-ditch procedure to reduce the weight, not some magic trick that'll all of a sudden make him shred it like a supermodel. The truth is, it requires incredible dedication and hard work, something Thedric clearly doesn't have. Either way, Thedric was given a month, along with a proper diet and exercise routine to lose weight and show Dr. Now that he is dedicated. To nobody's shock, I think we can all guess how that went.
But what about your eating habits? What changes you have made in your diet?
I started eating vegetables and what you said in that book, basically.
All right, you're only eating 3 times a day, right?
Nah, I'm not eating 3 times.
What kind of strange loophole is that? He claims to be eating healthy and following the diet plan, but the only difference is that he's still eating a megaton of food. Sure, it's more healthy than before, but it's incredibly disingenuous of him. At this point, who are they fooling, because it's definitely not the doctor? They're fooling themselves, and Thedric's mother is enabling this behavior. In a sense, she's responsible for spoiling her child to such a dangerous extent.
Well, if you really stayed on your diet, at this point, you should have lost 200 pounds. So you only did a fourth of what you should have, because you're still eating around 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day, which is a lot. So what are you eating?
I don't know. I thought I was eating healthy.
Dr. Now denied the surgery for obvious reasons. This shameless behavior is intolerable, and even if Thedric got the surgery, it wouldn't change much, as he'll simply regain all that weight. To say that 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day is a lot is an understatement. That's the diet most bodybuilders go on when they're bulking. The only difference is that Thedric is on an eternal bulk in the unhealthiest way possible. But Thedric at least had the decency to pretend that he wanted to change. The next patient, Cindy, had no such desire.
So this is obviously not a good situation for you to be in. Do you know how much you weigh now?
I'm not sure, but probably over 600.
I would say that's a safe bet. Depend on your height. So you are bedridden and probably over 600 pounds with serious health issues.
Yes.
This is the worst it can get. Cindy is not only dangerously overweight, she's at the tipping point towards losing her life. Already on oxygen and completely bedridden, her situation is dire. However, there's one small problem. Well, as small as herself. She doesn't actually want to change. This attitude was enough for Dr. Now to drop the niceties and give her a harsh reality check.
You're not being completely honest with me about how much you eat. But do you realize that you're killing yourself with the food or not?
Yes.
You realize that, right?
Yes.
But it seems like you got everything set up. You're in a path to self-destructive behavior with your eating habit, and this is not going to be a good setup for you. And you have to realize this is a very dangerous situation that you're in.
Lying to a doctor's face while being a whole behemoth just goes to show how shameless these people are. She tried to claim that she only eats twice a day and not much at that. Clearly, that's not true. And that's where Dr. Now owns her with plain and simple facts. After that tough scolding, he decided to help her out and even offered to arrange an ambulance since Cindy can't fit in any other vehicle. But guess what happened when the ambulance arrived?
Everything's taken care of.
Everything is taken care of, Cindy.
Let me see it.
You already know that it's taken care of. We have everything for you. You're just making excuses again.
We can't stay here all night. You have to give us a decision.
Just say yes or no.
No.
First, there's the relentless barrage of excuses. Even her friends sees through the obvious nonsense. Eventually, when she runs out of excuses, Cindy reveals the truth. She simply doesn't want to go. She has no interest in improving herself and fixing her life, and it's evident in her demeanor. However, after a lot of insistence from her friend, Sandy, she agrees to move to Houston and see the doctor. Sadly, she only ended up making Dr. Now angrier.
I am on my way to do home visit with Cindy Vella. It's been about a month since I did a video call with her. And she says she moved to Houston now, but she didn't show up to the hospital for her first appointment like she was supposed to the last week. So this is a good start with her. But we'll see how it goes and try to assess her current condition as best as possible.
That's right. She ghosted the one person who was trying to help her. Cindy refused to get help and didn't show up to her appointment. However, that wasn't enough to get her off the hook, as Dr. Now just decided to visit her at home. Still, the situation is very concerning, to say the least. It's incredibly shameless how she's comfortable with being a liability to everyone around her.
And the lifestyle that you got right now, you feel comfortable with it?
No, I don't feel comfortable at all.
Well,
I'm
then
like,
why in the world
independent.
you resisted coming to see us? Because you're smothering yourself, and every organ in your body, including your heart and lung, is affected by extra food that you accumulate in your body in the form of fat. So it's time to give that back. You understand that, right?
Right on cue and perfectly ruthless. Why did she think she could keep lying to his face like that? The truth is, Cindy loves her comfortable life, eating all day and having other people to take care of her. If she really wanted to change, she'd make the effort and show up to her appointments. But actions speak louder than words, and Cindy couldn't care less. To no one's surprise, she didn't meet her required weight loss goal and was rejected from the program. Dr. Now saw right through her and came up with the perfect analysis of the situation.
I'm very concerned about what I'm seeing with Cindy and her overall attitude. She's used to getting her way and manipulating people around her to get what she wants. And it seems the only reason she's even trying to get help is because her friend Sandy is encouraging her to do that. But Cindy is going to have to make the choice now, whether she really wants to do this or not. Because nothing we do.
It's shameless, manipulative, and practically insane how she has no regard for her own life and continues to make everything worse for herself. This self-destructive path that she's on can only be stopped if she's willing to change. And Cindy is clearly not. After this, Dr. Now gave her one more chance, but Cindy threw that away as well. But sometimes there are patients even more ungrateful than Cindy. They delude themselves into thinking they're doing good and start yelling back at Dr. Now. Kenae is the prime example of this.
I'm the one that who controls it, I guess.
Okay, so if you agree with that, why haven't you changed that before today?
I'm not sure.
So then, what do you think the problem is?
I don't know. Me, I guess. I don't know.
You're getting too many calories, right?
Yes, that problem. Yes, that's the problem.
You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Too many.
Dr. Now gets straight to the big questions to properly analyze the problem, because the issue here isn't just the weight, it's the lifestyle. Kenae has been tumbling towards extreme obesity for quite some time, and a good chunk of it is her family's fault. They don't call her out for her unhealthy choices and try to justify it instead. Meanwhile, Kenae uses her family as an excuse to continue her destructive behavior.
True. To survive through that, and that is the risk factor with severe obesity.
Yes, sir.
So it's very important you lose weight now. You get that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I'm going to give you some written instructions that will show you how a high protein, low carb, 1,200 calorie a day diet with a strict eating 3 times a day, around 400 calories per meal.
Notice how she starts having a whole breakdown when confronted with simple things. All of a sudden, she's all giddy to get the surgery and turn her life around, but that hasn't happened in the past 4 decades. What guarantee is there that this time will be any different? The problem is clear: too many calories. Now, only one question remains: will Humpty Dumpty fix the problem, or will there be a great fall?
And she doesn't make it. So she needs to start making the right choices now if she wants to improve her life.
The goal Dr. Now gave me is a little bit higher than I was expecting, but I'm more than ready to give this my all. And I know this is something I have to do, because either I succeed at this or I lose everything.
The shamelessness is off the charts with this one, and Dr. Now nails it with this explanation. Since Kenae is the one responsible for cooking in the household, it's a recipe for disaster unless she takes some responsibility for her life. Until then, she'll continue to justify the gluttony buffet as being a good, caring person. Either way, the doc gave her a simple goal: to lose 75 pounds in 2 months. That is a very reasonable goal for someone of that size. Will Kenae hit the goal, or will it be another food festival?
Extremely hard to succeed.
Hello, how y'all doing?
All right. How are you?
Good. All right. So, how's everything going with you?
Okay, I guess.
Okay. Well, in past 2 months, you lost 22 pounds. So that means you didn't change much of your eating habits. So why are you not following the diet?
Well, she did make progress, but sadly, it was nowhere near the goal. The problem is that she's not sticking to the diet, and if she can't even do that, she'll easily relapse. But perhaps the most baffling thing here is the shameless victim complex. I could have done better, she says. Well, why didn't you?
What you want is somebody to do the work for you. So if you expect us to magically make you lose weight, that's not going to happen.
I never asked you for magic. You're not a magician and you are not God. You are a doctor.
You're exactly right. I'm a doctor who's telling you how to get healthy.
Dr. Now absolutely ate with that reality check. Sure, she made progress, but that's equivalent to what someone her size can do in a week. She couldn't do it in 2 months, and that's where the shameless entitlement comes out to play. She pretends as if she did something huge and starts throwing around an attitude that's more inflated than her. Let's just say it didn't end well.
Legs and my knees hurt. They hurt because I was 600 pounds. They hurt because I have ruined them. All of this is my fault.
Okay, that's not motivation
wait,
for you.
Please wait, because I did make the changes and my diet is different. And then I felt good about myself. I made changes where I can now leave my house independently. I don't need anyone to walk me to.
Right. So now she's the medical expert all of a sudden. Dr. Now almost snapped after that. Really, the person built like an ambulance is trying to teach him about health. Comical, shameless, delusional? Pick your pick. He completely shuts that attitude down and gives her a proper reality check. That's just how it usually goes. They try to be smug with Darnell and he ends up completely owning them. The bottom line is, it's their responsibility to take the diet seriously or else there's no point to the surgery. Speaking of which, do you know the best way to shut down this kind of attitude? It's by raising awareness, and you can do that by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. In the meantime, we'll be back with more of these tragic yet entertaining shutdowns.